I'm Katie. Welcome to another video in our series Christian and Vegan. Today I'm going to be discussing a specific verse, and I want to do that many times more in the future, discussing a specific verse or passage that you may have questions about. Today we're going to be discussing my favorite verse from childhood, which is Proverbs 12:10, and I'm going to read it to you in the version that I memorized it in. I have my notes with me to keep me on topic so that these videos are as short and to the point as possible. The verse is Proverbs 12:10, and it says, "A righteous man regardeth the life of his beast, but the tender mercies of the wicked are cruel." And Solomon presents verses in Proverbs like this many times where it's like a coin. You have one side of the issue and then you have the polar opposite, so that you can approach the topic from both sides to get a clearer understanding of what he's talking about. So let's break this verse down and go over some definitions of words. What would be your beast? A beast would be any non-human creature that is under your care. This could be a working animal, a service animal, a pet. If they're on your property and under your care, that is your beast. So man in the KJV means human. It does not mean man versus woman. So it's anybody. Now, righteous. What is a righteous man? The definition for righteous is pretty much morally upright. Regardeth. Now that is to look at. And in this case, if you were going to be a righteous man, you would be looking at the situation, or in this case, the beast, as God would. So we need to have a better understanding of how God regards the life of a beast. They're all his anyway. So the way that he looks at them, if we are going to be Christians, if we want to be Christ-like, we need to have his perspective. So what is God's perspective? He talks about it many different points in the Bible, and we will be going over those in more detail in the future. But each animal is a unique creation. There is only one, and then there's never that one again. And you will know this if you have a favorite pet and you've loved them so much, and the end of the life comes, they pass away. Do you go out and replace that pet? No, you can't. There is no exact copy, replica of that pet in existence. Even if you had the money to have a clone, you know from researching clones that the personality will still be slightly different, because each life is an individual. So God put care into making each one individual, like the snowflakes. There's never one alike. That is a lot of care that we just cannot even comprehend. A shadow of this would be a preschooler who has made something out of Play-Doh or made a drawing. They're so proud of it. They put so much time and their love into it. And then someone else comes along and either purposely or accidentally destroys it. How do they react? That gives you just a shadow of how it feels when you create something and how you value it. He also tells us in the Bible that he provides for them. They all have a place to live. They all have food to eat. And he sees every single time something happens to one of them. That's an awful lot of care that just blows our minds. But it gets us pointed in the right direction of how we are to regard the life of the beasts that are in our care. Now, if we want to examine the other side of the verse, which I think is very important so that we have a clear understanding of both sides of where we need to be as Christians, is what does it mean, the tender mercies of the wicked are cruel? That sounds a little bit confusing. But today we have terms like humane slaughter. Now, exactly how did this term come about? This term came about from people who are not righteous. They're not morally upright. They do not follow after God. They do not have his mindset. If you do not know the author of love, how can you show true love? I hope that makes sense to you. So those who do not have a reverence for God and choose not to see things his way will have their own interpretation of compassion. They will have their own spin on morality that is based on what they feel is right, not what God says is right. doing what's right in their own eyes. So let's break down the word humane and see how they came to be saying this word. And vegans are very familiar with this. This is an argument they present all the time. Humane means the action is characterized by kindness, mercy, and compassion. How is kindness, mercy, and compassion demonstrated in the destruction of life? Now, I worked in the veterinary field for 15 years, so I had to be there and help with a pet's passing. And when we are putting a pet to sleep, our goal is to be as humane as possible. However, that pet is usually extremely injured, extremely diseased, or at the end of their life and their body is failing them. They do not want to live anymore. They are suffering, and we are trying to ease their transition out of life as kindly and compassionately as possible, as gently as possible. And we are sorrowful for that the end has come. I don't see that in slaughterhouses. I don't see an animal at the end of their natural life going into slaughterhouses. If you look at example, just cows, their lifespan is this, we're slaughtering them here. They're still pretty much babies. And many of them are actually pregnant. That may be a shock to some of you who have not done research into slaughterhouses. There is a saying that if slaughterhouses had glass walls, they wouldn't exist. And that is very true. There is nothing humane about killing somebody who does not want to die. And these animals struggle for their very last breath. No matter if they don't see it coming, no matter if it's painless, there is nothing kind, compassionate, or merciful about ending their life. And that is how we can see the tender mercies of the wicked are cruel. So, what side of the coin do you want to be on? This says a lot about you as a Christian. People are watching you. Your testimony is very important. And once you know something, you're responsible to that knowledge. I hope you have enjoyed this breaking down of this verse. If you have any other further questions, please do comment below. I would love to hear from you. If you have another verse or passage that you would like us to talk about, I'd be happy to do that as well. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful week, and I'll talk to you soon.